this is a new camera. Okay, so the thing about solo travel is I really don't think that it's something to be romanticized. Like, this is something that I think social media has a way of exaggerating things, and there's a tendency to over romanticize certain things, and I think that solo travel is really good and important, but I don't think it's meant for everyone. And I also don't like how it is so over romanticized on social media sometimes, because look, I love traveling alone, and the only reason I have the courage to do it is because I've traveled a lot when I was younger, and I have a lot of experience going abroad and figuring things out on my own. But that is through years of experience of study abroad, traveling to Vietnam with my parents. My mom used to work in the travel industry, so I had a lot of knowledge, and I've done a lot of domestic solo travel, so it's something that I know that I am okay with and well equipped for, but that doesn't mean that it's easy. Like, no matter how many times I've solo traveled, it's still uncomfortable. You know, like, you have to make the decisions and call the shots for everything. Sometimes that's really taxing, you know, like when you're traveling with other people, you can communicate with each other and sit down and talk about what it is that you want to do, figure things out together, and there's beauty in that, right? Like, humans are social beings. We thrive in communities. Like, it's a lot more efficient and maybe even more productive to be making decisions together sometimes. But, and of course, like, sharing moments, fun moments, and like experiencing something together, that's so beautiful to like be able to share that with someone else. But the reason why I say that solo travel should not be romanticized is because I really think that you have to like yourself to solo travel, because you are the only person that you're gonna be spending time with. Like, of course, like, when you solo travel, you can meet other people, you can meet friends, you can meet locals and talk to people along the way, but if you're going alone and figuring things out by yourself, it can be really exhausting, and there's a lot of things that you have to like be comfortable with, and it's learning how to navigate on your own. I think solo travel is basically like a self-trust test. It's like taking a test to see how much you trust yourself and how much you can rely on yourself and trust that no matter what situation arises, you're gonna be okay. And I'm not gonna sit here in front and pretend like I fucking love solo travel and like I'm a pro at it. No, I'm not. I've done it a few times, like I said, and I'm comfortable with it, but it makes me really uncomfortable. Like I mentioned, I was very nervous coming onto this trip, and you know, there were a few aspects I was worried about. I was worried about spending so much time alone, and like potentially like facing things where I wouldn't be able to figure out on my own. You know, like I was also nervous about like all the things I wanted to do and how much time I didn't have, and to be honest, I'm not gonna be able to hit everything on my list because I'm only in Seoul for a few days alone, and I always want to do more than what I expect. But okay, I don't know how fucking influencers do this. Like, I can't fucking multitask, bro. I'm trying to do my makeup and talk at the same time. It's not working, bro. What was I gonna say? Yeah, solo travel, it's not for everyone, but the reason why I like it so much is because I use it as a test. Like I said, as a test to test my self-trust, to test my self-love, to test, maybe the word test sounds a little harsh, but I really use solo travel as a vessel to connect with myself more, because when I am out of my element, I'm out of my comfort zone, I'm alone. Can I trust myself to get through every single uncomfortable situation, no matter how stressful it is, how difficult and annoying it is? Can I trust myself to get through it? Because this is the foundation that I need in order to keep being the person that I need to be for myself in life, because as much as I would love to like always be traveling with someone or doing things with someone, I've gotten so used to doing things alone because you can't just sit around and wait for someone to do something with you. And unfortunately, I don't have a lot of people in my life right now who I want to do a lot of things with. I'm in a very transitional period in my life where I've let go of so many old relationships, old toxic relationships, in every aspect of my life. And I'm like, well, I still have to go and enjoy myself. Just because I don't have people to do it with me doesn't mean I should hold myself back and not live my life. So yeah, I really use solo travel as a way to connect with myself, and I'm very deliberate in the cities that I choose. I did New York last year because I knew that going to New York would help me confront some grief that I had been storing inside, and lo and behold, I did. Within like the second night of being in New York City, I was bawling my eyes out, and I was crying so much the first few days of my trip. Not because I was like, I felt lonely or anything, but like I felt all these feelings come up that I had tucked away in this little box inside of my head, where I was like, I don't want to think about it anymore. But as soon as I stepped inside the city, all these memories came back, all these thoughts and feelings came back that I've been trying to ignore. And it is so easy to like run away from your feelings. I used to travel to run away from my feelings. I used travel as a form of escapism because I hated my life. Okay, that's not true. I didn't hate my life, but I was so stressed out from my reality at that point in my life when I was younger, and I didn't know what to do with all these feelings. So I would use traveling as a way to like just pretend like my problems don't exist. But now that I'm older, I've gotten more comfortable with myself. I've learned how to face my fears more head on. I've learned how to sit with my feelings. I now use travel very intentionally. So solo travel is very much a tool for me. I use it as a way to let myself experience the world, to let myself grow, to get to know myself even more. I struggle a lot with knowing my own boundaries. I'm like recovering people pleaser, and when you are a recovering people pleaser, and when you have carried generational trauma your whole entire life, saying no has been really hard for me, and knowing my limits especially knowing my limits has been especially, I can't with English. Knowing my boundaries have been very hard for me. Even yesterday, I went out in the city and I was like, I'm gonna fucking go. I got this. I'm gonna go. I woke up. I was fucking insane. I woke up early and then I went out to the spa. I ate breakfast. I went to the market, and then I went to the other side of town, and then I was like wiped by the time 1 o'clock came around because I was jet lagged, and I was like, you know what? And that's when I did the thing. I was like, okay, I'm in the situation where I was in Seoul. I love Seoul, but that place scares the living hell out of me because it's so fucking overstimulating. Like, why is there like 10 perfume brands on one street? Okay, I'm not even joking. So I got to, okay, let me see. No, first of all, I went to Kwangya because I wanted to go and find some albums or see if there was any merch for NCT Dream. And there was not. So SM Town continues to upset me and fail me in many ways. Like the K-pop store in Seattle has more selection than Kwangya itself. It's kind of crazy, actually. Kwangya is like the headquarters. That's where all SM artists work. That's their company building. Anyways, and then I was like, okay, I want to take a walk at Seoul Forest because it's right there. But it was so hot and humid. Like, I'm a Seattle native, born and raised in Seattle. Okay, the rain raised me. It was like 75 degrees in Seoul. It was humid. The air quality was so bad. I was like, yo, I'm fucking tweaking right now, bro. But I was like, so I was like, fuck it, fuck the park. We're gonna just go straight to Seongsudong. So it was another 20-minute walk, and I don't know what it is about the maps in Seoul. I'm not used to it because I'm used to driving around town in Seattle, and I walk my dog at a park. But I was like, 20 minutes, I can do 20 minutes. But as I was walking, I was just getting sweaty, I was getting overstimulated, and then I made it to 2 perfume stores and a few other stores, and then I was like, I sat down with my board of directors up here, and I was like, we're gonna make the executive decision to not push our body, because like I said, I am way too old to be pushing my body, and I need to know my limits. So I felt it. I felt like if I kept staying out, I was gonna be dehydrated, I was gonna get heat stroke, whatever. I don't need to go there. I have an issue with my thyroid. I don't do well in heat. So I was like, fuck it. And I did make it to Tambourines. Last time I was in town, it was only a month after I had knee surgery, and I was like 5 feet away from Tambourines, and I couldn't do it. My knees gave out. So I made it to Tambourines, and then I booked a taxi home, and I was like, that was the right move. And then I chilled in my hotel room for 4 hours, and I was like, this is why I solo travel, because I have a tendency, it's the Aries rising in me, I have a tendency to take on more than I can chew, because I just want to go, just go see as much as I can, go do as much as I can. But I am a human being, and Seoul is huge. I underestimate how far it takes from one place to another, and how much energy and how consuming it is to be walking down the street when there are like, I don't know, like perfume brand, K-pop stores, skincare stores, beauty stores, like screaming at your face, like. And I do think that when I was younger, when I was in Seoul, like over 8 years ago, it was much different because I was with my ex. I was younger. That was like my first time like really like exploring Seoul, and I had a longer time to do so. I had 3 weeks in Korea, so there was no rush whatsoever to like explore. But like, I'm only in town for a few days, and that's why I was like, oh, I just want to like do as much as I can, but I really don't want to burn my body out, and that stresses me out. It scares me. And the one thing I've been trying to heal is learning how to slow down and rest, especially while eating. Like learning how to not look at my phone when I'm eating, and just being very intentional and like chewing my food, tasting the texture, and learning how to eat properly and to breathe. And it's really funny that I am in a city that is so dense and so busy, and I'm trying to learn how to slow down in a city like Seoul. I don't know why I did that, or I don't know why I chose that, but hey, I had many reasons to come to Seoul, and I was like, yo, might as well learn how to be with it, because realistically, I'm not like a country girl. I'm not a suburban girl. I love the big city. I love a dense city. Like, I love having access to a lot of things. And so I was like, you know what, eventually I'm still gonna be living in a big city, so I should learn how to navigate and know how to navigate the energy without letting it get to me. And it's fully learning how to control myself. I think seriously, like, solo travel is learning self-control, knowing your boundaries, knowing your limits, learning how to trust yourself and rely on yourself. And also, the biggest fucking thing is like being okay with, you know, going into the unknown, like being okay with things being uncertain. Like, bro, I do not know what is next for me in my career. I feel like I'm at another crossroad, and I was like, there's no point in me sitting around Seattle moping around not knowing what to do when I could be out exploring and doing something else that I actually want to do. So here I am sitting at a hotel room in Dongdaemun talking to myself to a camera that I just bought recently. So there's that. Yeah, that's, I don't even know if I'm going to use any of this in any form of video or post it anywhere, but I think it's good to just put stuff down and just share my feelings, because I think it is very important, because one day I may look back at this time in my life and be like, wow, 28-year-old Jenny had energy and time to go and travel in Seoul alone. I do not take any of this for granted or lightly at all. So yeah, I'm enjoying my time though. I think now that I'm older and I have my own views about, I have my own morals and viewpoints on things regarding like the patriarchy, consumerism, capitalism. So it's really interesting being in a city where literally it is capitalism on crack. Like, you think capitalism in America is bad? Go to Seoul. K-capitalism is different. Okay, everything is marketed and branded so nicely and so enticing, wants you to buy it all. There's always a deal, there's always some collab, there's always a pop-up, there's always some shit going on. it's literally like a self-control test. Can you resist it, or are you gonna cave in? It's totally fine to cave in and like just enjoy it. That's what Seoul has to offer. But it's just like, it's interesting to me how much my view has changed on like shopping and consumerism. Because before I was so excited. I was like, I'm about to get all the skincare, I'm gonna get all the K-pop albums, and like, don't get me wrong, okay, I still dropped like a Benji at Olive Young yesterday. Okay, I still love to consume, but it just doesn't hit the same no more, you know? Before it'd be like, shopping would be like